The following podcast contains spoilers and adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
I'm Television's Dave Landau, and you're listening to the Showdown Podcast. I really wish these guys would stop bringing my name up.
The Showdown Podcast presents the Survivor Series with Corey Miller, Vic Miller, Brad Scott, and special guest Jeff Vibbert. This week's episode, Starship Troopers.
We built this city. We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city. We built this city on rock and roll.
Welcome to a 3-time award-winning podcast. This is the Showdown Podcast, and I am joined, as always, by Corey Ace Busey Miller, Vic Ain't No Way a Black Man is Blowing Himself Up for No Cracker-Ass Crackers Miller. I'm Brad Been Smoking Roaches Scott, and we are honored to be joined by Jeff Rico Vibbert. And this is, again, the Showdown Podcast. We're talking about Starship Troopers, but before we get into that, we're very excited. The prodigal son has returned. You may have remembered him from the Rocky IV versus Aliens episode, and also...
I was going to say where somebody forgot to watch.
Yeah, where somebody watched the original Rocky and had to wing it. And what was the other episode that you were on, Jeff? Do you remember?
Oh,
Wasn't it Chronicle? And it was the found footage, right? It was Chronicle.
Chronicle and Almanac.
The Project Almanac. Yeah.
Almanac.
Yeah, so, woo, that was a...
That's a long time ago.
That was a bad episode. I mean, good content, but wow, you guys picked two shitty found footage movies.
Well, I know.
So,
I've got a history of that.
But now we fixed the show, and we brought Jeff back, and we're going to do Starship Troopers. We're going to get to that in just a little bit. Jeff, how have you been since you've been on the show?
I've been fine. I've grown a lot.
You really have, man. The show
now.
has too. Your
Yeah.
show has as well. When you were here the first time, I believe it was just you.
Yeah. No. I mean, well, there's. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, your show's grown too. You have so many new technical equipment things, and
We got fancy.
And
Yeah.
now we're broadcasting from the Miller Zoo /Evil Lair /Aquarium.
yeah, I feel like I'm in a dentist's office. There's like 18 aquariums in here.
And highlights magazines on the coffee
Right.
table.
Are any of these fish venomous?
No.
No. Do you have like any like
There's sharks in that one.
Where's,
this one?
Yeah.
I'm looking for the shark. I don't see
They're
any.
smaller. They're smaller.
Are they just like baby
they're
sharks?
just the ones that can
Yeah,
bite like the
they're
tip
over
of
They're
your
there.
finger.
bitch ass sharks.
Yeah, they can just bite the tip of your finger.
Have they bit anyone here?
No.
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 They look at us kind of funny. At least me. I notice.
Do you mean it? I'll look at it. I feel like I'm just turning around from the mic and just
Yeah, not a visual medium.
Yeah,
Jeff.
if you guys want to see them, come over to the house.
So tell us about the Jeff Vibbert Podcast. You guys have grown. You had new equipment when I was there as well,
yeah.
and you have a new co-host.
Yep, we just got microphones. That was the thing we just got. I mean, new microphones. We've had microphones in the past. I mean,
Yeah.
how do we record into them?
Very, very carefully in your phone, I think.
Yeah, true. Actually, have you ever tried to do that? Like
Yeah.
just a podcast on? It's not. Doesn't
It's
sound.
ridiculous,
Yeah, it doesn't
yeah.
sound good.
It's horrible.
Caitlin Kopetsky, though, she's my co-host. She came on. 14 episodes in. I think it was the episode after Brad
Right
Scott's
after me,
first
when you
appearance.
realize, holy shit, we need somebody else. But no, she's very good. You guys have a very good chemistry. It's almost sometimes feels like a Ross and Rachel. Will they? Won't they?
Yeah, there's people have said that before.
Speculation about that, but it was a fun show. One of my favorite episodes.
Was the one
obviously,
you were on?
Besides that one, was the Christmas Eve where you just got fucked up.
Yeah. The Ross and Rachel thing, I think, came from the night I got so fucked up, and I was just telling everyone, I was doing what normal drunk people do. I was telling them I love them.
I love you, man.
And
it's a very funny episode, and it's something that we've done on the Showdown as well. Well, one of us got drunk.
We won't
Corey,
talk about
you remember that?
No.
When you argued Halloween versus Stephen King's It,
I
you
never
forgot
and should have won,
but
by all
forgot to
rights
mention that the big spider at the end. Remember that?
Yeah, I know.
because he was drunk.
But anyways, it was a very fun episode, and you guys have had a lot of guests. Who have been some of your besides me? Who have been some of your favorite guests?
Honestly-
Hold on, now that's just like leading. That's like leading the witness. Like besides me, of course.
Well, but yeah, it's to take the pressure off.
Oh, okay.
To not
I
make it
got you.
as
I got
awkward.
you.
Honestly, the Brad Scott episodes have been two of my favorite. I mean, the first time he was on, it was just him and I, and he shared a lot of like
Oh, we
intimate
went deep.
details.
Yeah, we went deep into
stories that I don't
shit.
think you've ever said
Those are
before.
dive.
No, I
Yeah.
haven't even told like friends.
Yeah.
I had friends that were like, "Hey, I didn't fucking know any of this shit."
Yeah, check that out. It was
Download
good.
the episode. You'll hear it.
But of course, like we have Chick McGee who comes on. Christy Lee's been on. Jay Baker was a really fun episode. I really like that.
I love Jay Baker.
He knows a lot about music. Ben Ford, I really like that one. Todd McComas, who was just on the Chick McGee podcast earlier today. But we've had a lot of fun guests. Like it's been a lot of fun. I enjoy it. So
And you guys are well over a year.
we are at 2 years this past November. So we are almost to episode 100,
Nice.
which is exciting. I'm excited for.
Are you doing like any type of big?
I told Caitlin, my co-host, what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to bring every guest we've had on back on, and they're gonna have to give me 100 compliments.
Can you fit them all in your place?
Oh, we'll I don't think it's feasibly possible. We'll figure it out.
Only 100?
We'll make a lot.
God, I could come up with 1,000.
Oh, thank you, Brad. You're such a sweet boy.
Speaking of 100, I think we're coming up close on it too.
How are we?
Yeah,
not
where are you
there
guys
yet?
at?
I think this is going to be
laziness?
Yeah.
That's how
I think this is like 97 or 98.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're getting
Yeah.
there.
We should bring you back. I tell you what, this is not just to be sappy, but it's weird because I've known you since we met. You were the door guy
Yeah.
at Crackers. He was 12.
Yep.
Still looks 12.
This was a couple of weeks ago. But no, I've seen you go from being the door kid at Crackers, who I remember I gave you a shirt like one
Yeah.
of the first nights that we knew each other. And like it was genuine sincerity and excitement because like when you're starting out as a comedian, that is kind of a cool thing when a comic gives you a shirt. And I told you, I was like, I want to be the first comic to give you one of their merch. And now to see like you've grown, you've now regular at Crackers. You've traveled for comedy. You've been on huge shows. You performed, I think, to a bigger audience than I ever have, which was at the Palladium,
Right, yeah.
in Broad Ripple, where you opened up for Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
Which is just an amazing, cool thing to put on a resume. How
Yeah.
was that show?
Oh, that show was amazing. It was the coolest thing I've done. It was 1,300 people. They were filming it, so there was like a film crew. I had to do makeup, which was cool. And then jump forward after the show, the makeup lady like found me and she's like, "All right, I can take your makeup off." And I go, "Oh no, bitch, I'm taking this. I'm wearing this out to the bars."
I gotta go fucking take selfies with
Yeah.
this shit on.
But it was amazing. The crazy thing, so I'm about to go out on stage, and I'm a huge New England Patriots fan.
Oh God.
And Adam Vinatieri walks by and just starts going, "Say some funny stuff, funny man. Like, do some funny stuff." Like, so my childhood hero's like heckling me.
Right.
But the crazy thing is, he was talking to Pat's manager, and like he wasn't talking to me. But Pat's manager was like, "You do realize that kid's about to go on stage. He thinks you're heckling him." And it was just like, so that was right before I went out the first night, and that was terrifying. Yeah, you just walk out.
But you held your own, right?
Yeah. And
You Vinatieri'd it.
yeah, exactly. You gotta walk out, and I was told it's like a dog kind of like mark its own territory. You gotta go out, walk the entire stage, let everyone know this is your area, and I'm about to just own it. And it went well. I was super nervous the first night, like my mouth got really dry. But then the second night was easily the best night. I knew what I was in for because like you walk out, I'd practice in front of like 60 people shows, and it's like, okay, I know my material, but like there's no substitute for
1,500.
Yeah,
like,
it's just
people
like
staring at you.
I mean, especially in that I've never done the Palladium. Was it? You see maybe 2 rows, and then it's
you saw
darkness.
You saw everybody
See,
because
that's worse to me.
yeah,
Because 1,300, just statistics alone are going to show you that there's going to be 10 to 15 people at a time who aren't paying attention or who are moving around. Was that distracting?
you know what? Everybody eyes glued on the stage.
Really?
It was an amazing crowd. Like it was like a Ferrari. Like I just got in a Ferrari and got to drive it. Like it wasn't like it was a challenge, like a stick shift Ford Taurus, and I'm just, it was just easy. And,
Yeah.
But the thing is, since they were filming, they had to have the lights up.
Ah,
And, like,
yeah.
The day before, we were like on stage and we were running through the show, and like they were like, "How bright should the lights be?" And I was like, "Hey, as a comedian, like we're gonna want it really dark in here." And like, hey,
no.
as a multi-million-dollar film crew, we're gonna want the lights up really high. And I was
Wait,
like, okay.
I just like to imagine that they weren't even asking you. Like, they were just asking, like, the stage manager or something, and you just chimed in, like, well, as a comedian, we want it really dark. And they're just like, who the fuck is this kid?
Honestly, like, whose son is here? Like,
But it's such a cool experience, man. And I, with that comes jealousy. But I always wanted to point out, like, anyone who gave Pat McAfee shit for that, go to hell, because he didn't do what most people of that celebrity status would do, which is will go to Crackers or Morty's and just do 5 sold out shows and record that and take a week from a working comic. He did a theater in Broad Ripple that no working comic is missing out on anything,
Right.
you know?
and he rented it with his own money. Like it was, He's a great guy, and he's good for like he gets comedy, and he understands it, and he wants comedy to grow in Indianapolis.
Absolutely. And I mean, unfortunately, I wish he was at the other club.
Yeah.
Because that just would be a cool experience just to do a show with him, or especially being a huge sports fan. I mean, even though it's the other team, he's a guy that kind of transcends all that. Because you can be a fan of any team, you're going to like Pat McAfee. He has a great person. He has a very big personality, which is something you don't see out of that position. He's good at his job, and he has a very good sense of humor.
Yeah, it was really cool to be around those players. But like when I was on stage and the lights were up, I could see, and I was looking out in the crowd, I could see, like I looked and I see, okay, that's Pat's mom, and I was like, I can't look at her. And then I looked and who did I like Adam Vinatieri, and then I saw like Robert Mathis, and I was like, oh god.
Oh, you can't look at Robert Mathis.
I need to pick someone who is not.
I need to key on someone that's not going to intimidate me.
Yeah.
Well, no, whether on stage or life, you don't look at Robert Mathis.
Yeah.
You divert those eyes.
And then of course Dave Brown, who worked at the old Crackers Comedy Club.
Love Dave Brown. DMB 260.
I invited him, and I'm looking around, and he's like 50 rows back because my tickets that I gave him weren't that great. But, and I just key on him somehow, and I'm like,
brilliant. Yeah. That's the safety blanket right there.
And I think I saw my mom. Like it was just,
Then it's like telling a joke to a friend, right? Like,
yeah, and you
that
don't
point-
want to look at the
Right,
like,
right,
they're not gonna
Which
laugh.
I will say usually is the worst thing. As a comic, you don't want to look at the people you know, but if the only other options are a fucking giant dark black linebacker and the greatest kicker in the history of the NFL, I think I'm going to go with the friends and family.
Yeah,
It might be a safer bet.
There was one point where the players were in the like the green room, and they're all hanging out, and my dad was like, "I'm gonna go say hi to Pat," and he turns the corner to go say hi. I'm like, "Well, he's talking to those people." He's like, "I don't care, I'll talk to him." He turns the corner, and it's like Robert Mathis, and he's like, turns around and goes, "Yeah, no, I'll wait. I'll wait." And talk to him."
He's like, I can't get past them.
Yeah. Oh, his biceps are bigger than my waist. Like he's a big man.
All right, we have now we go into a little segment we like to call the Showdown Podcast History. And now, the Showdown Podcast History. Vic.
I very much remember this movie. I saw it in the theaters. I was a horrible father and took my son to see it because he liked to see people get killed by things. So it has fond memories for me when it first came out.
All right, Vibbert.
My dad took me to see this, and it came
So
out.
I'm not so bad after all.
Yeah. And I love it. Very fond memories. It's the first R-rated movie
How
I ever
old
saw.
were
I like your dad already.
I believe 1998, so I was 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Corey?
I saw this for the first time when it came out on video, I believe.
On VHS?
Probably.
Or
It could have
like,
been VHS.
did they used to have cave paintings? And
Yeah.
you read those? I saw it for the first time today.
Really?
This has been the Showdown Podcast History. Yeah, today was the first day I watched it. And so, Vic, you know what it's time for, right?
Yep, it's that time.
It's Jeff. We have a new segment, and this is actually your first Survivor Series episode as well,
it is.
right? Because you were just part of the battle. So this is a new segment we have where we give Corey the budget and the day and the year of when the film was released, and he tries to guess what it did at the box office.
Ooh.
He has not looked. He's keeping the honor system.
He's also not succeeded.
He has never been right.
I've never come close.
Hopefully you did. Wait, do we give him the year?
Yeah. We
Yeah,
give him the
yeah,
year.
yeah.
We
Because
give him
I
the
gave
year.
you the wrong year a second ago.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
97.
97.
So I'm gonna test. I'm gonna test this out. Okay, have that ready to go.
All right.
So, all right, Corey.
Yes.
Starship Troopers
Mhm.
released November 7th, 1997.
Uh-huh.
Budget $105 million.
Mhm.
What is the box office?
Oh, I got music too. I'm gonna say. Is this for opening weekend? Did we ever say that?
It's the total
box
gross
office,
box
yeah.
office.
Total gross. Okay. 80,
Why are you?
How many times have we done this?
This is the third or fourth in a row at
Literally
least.
the fourth one.
You know what? I'm not even waiting for your answer. Just for that comment.
85 million.
How much?
85.
85?
Yes.
Wrong again.
While it still did not perform well, it did exceed its budget and hit 121 million. Sadly, what was that? So you were 35 million off?
Yeah.
That's the closest he's ever been, Jeff.
I was about to say that's
Congrats.
About
This is actually a banner day in the Miller Aquarium Zoo layer. So Vic, tell us about this 1997. Oh, I guess I should run through the main stuff.
every time.
I know that's on me. So it was released in 1997. Stars Casper Van Dien, Dina Meyer, Denise Richards. That was this pre-AIDS? Denise Richards.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Jake Busey, Neil
we really
Patrick
know?
Harris, NPH.
Yes.
That surprised me. I did not remember him.
Yeah.
having been in this movie. So
He was one of the main guys I remembered. I didn't remember. You're about to say. I'm sorry. I'm cutting into your thing.
no, go ahead.
Seth Gilliam from The Wire.
Yes.
I did not know he was in it.
And
Yeah.
He's in The
Walking
Walking,
Dead,
Dead.
yep.
He's in everything.
The
I
last
love
time
him.
you saw him as a stand-up real man.
Yeah.
And many more. Amy Smart.
Yeah.
She was like a smaller role, right?
Yeah. She
Yeah.
like
This
one of the
must
pilots.
have been. Oh, this is.
This
Yeah,
is
this
probably
is
one of her first ones.
pre-Varsity Blues.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because Varsity Blues, I believe, was like 98. So Vic, the movie, we said earlier, the movie made $16 million at the box office, but it did go on to become a cult classic.
Yes.
And actually won an Oscar for best visual effects. And so it's a very polarizing movie, and it's based on the science fiction novel by Robert A. Heinlein. So it is a satirical military science fiction action film, is how it is officially.
So much shit in that one.
It has to at least be top 5 of all time in that category, right? Because there's probably
There's only-
7.
I was going to say there's only 5 movies in that category.
So tell us about it, Vic.
So it's the 23rd century. The movie starts us with us being introduced to the main characters.
Welcome to Trump's America.
Exactly. There's a lot of white people in that city. Apparently, everyone from America has moved to Rio or Buenos
I
Aires.
thought that was weird, too.
Like that's what happened. See, Trump got elected, and everyone moved to Buenos Aires. So apparently, we have a colony in Buenos Aires, and we're introduced to the characters. They all go to Buenos Aires High School. We meet Johnny Rico. He's kind of like the typical jock, popular guy. His girlfriend, who would be the cheerleader, but she's actually the smart girl in this one. His best friend, who's the nerd. There's always that archetype in each one of those movies. And then
Okay, wait, real quick, by the way. Since we agreed not to do a recast, I want to talk about this now.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
You know who you could recast this movie with? And you'll appreciate this. Rico could be played by Tom Brady.
Oh yeah.
Now, he is the Tom Brady
They
of
look very
science
similar.
action films. I mean, just handsome, good look, great at everything he does.
What was the sport they played in the beginning? Roller.
It was football.
It was,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was some form of football.
And he ends up winning it. He's a receiver in
It was
that,
like
okay.
arena ball. It was like arena
Yeah,
football.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it looked like.
But that's exactly what I thought through the whole movie.
And he has kind of the dimple chin, doesn't he? Is that,
Yeah, exactly. And they smiled the entire fucking movie.
What
Yeah.
What else is he known for, by the way? Casper
Who,
Van
Casper Van
Dien.
He was in Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp. And
Who did he play in that? Do you know?
I don't remember the guy's name. He was.
Was he like the dick to Ichabod
yeah,
Crane?
yeah, he was.
Okay.
and he's at every convention, sci-fi convention out right
Yeah,
now.
we're talking about PopCon a year.
That's
or two.
where
Well,
we see him
what
at
do you want to
now.
bet if he's at PopCon? This guy is going to be asking for a bumper. Hey, we did Starship Troopers. Would you mind telling people how much you love the show?
He's gonna walk up to me and ask me to go ask him.
Yeah, probably.
And you're gonna go. That's a good idea because you're the black guy. They won't tell you no.
Yeah, they did. That's a true thing. That's what we do at conventions. We send Vic to ask people things because we're like, he's big and he's black, so they're going to at least answer him.
They won't ignore me for fear of making me
This-
angry.
if
You know how it works.
If Corey goes up and asks people, they just send out a silver alert, and guys in coats come for him.
Rico is in Starship Troopers 3. No, that's not his. That's his acting name.
Yeah.
I assume he's Rico again in Starship Troopers 3, right?
Yeah.
Most likely, yeah.
Is there not a 2? It's not.
Catch-
There
there is a 2.
Okay, it's not showing up on this.
Yeah,
And
he's
then
not in it.
there's another one that's an animated in canon.
So wait, so he
I've heard about that one.
So he left after the first. He didn't do the second one because he's like, I'm going to pursue bigger and better
Right.
things. I mean, the
Yeah.
first one's going to launch my career. And then
Yeah.
a year later, he was like, hey, can I get back in on that? You guys doing a third?
Well, see, what happened was he ended up on Sci-Fi Channel doing a bunch of their movies.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad place to be, honestly.
Then he was like, hey, they're doing another Starship Troopers. I might jump on that because that's going to get me back in the theaters, and it was direct to video.
Aw. But yeah, he is the Tom Brady. That was my whole point. He is the Tom Brady of sci-fi action heroes. So continue.
And then there's the final character, which is Dizzy, the thirsty chick, who is all over that D for Rico, like nonstop.
Is that the brown curly hair?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the quarterback, and the chick
Yeah.
that just hunts him down nonstop until she gets that.
Man, you can even tell when they fuck later on that like she's one of those athletic chicks because she like throws him down
Yeah.
and starts sucking his nipples and
She's like, no, you're subservient, bitch.
Yeah.
I'm the man. Flip over. She'd peg him. That's what would happen.
that's the type of chick that has a pussy that grabs Trump. Sorry, go ahead.
So we learn about their society, the fact that they you're not a citizen, you're not born a citizen, you have to earn your citizenship. They're basically taught that military is the way to go. We find out about the war that they're dealing with, which is against this interstellar race of bugs that when we started colonizing other planets, because we finally become spacefaring beings, we started running into these bugs that are killing us off, and we're basically like, if you're going to kill us, we're going to kill you. So
Man, I am so disappointed. I feel like I'm in the age, and you guys are probably in the same group. We're not that far off besides Corey.
Yeah, I'm
Where-
way past it.
I feel like we're at the age where like we're either going to just miss when they develop space travel and we colonize other planets, or we're going to be so old that we're either not going to be able to do it, or we're just going to be like, nah, fuck that. You know what? Yeah, get off my
Get
planet.
off- I'll stay
Yeah,
here.
I'll stay at Earth. All right,
Whippersnapper.
my one daughter ain't dating no damn Martians.
Get off my planet.
But I'm disappointed.
So, Brad, when you turn old, you're going to turn into an old Southern white guy.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. Who will somehow still have a daughter when
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
90. But I miss that because then we'll also miss like John Taffer like renovating those other planets. Planet Rescue.
Trump
He's just
Galaxy.
yelling at everybody.
I just found out who John Tafford was yesterday.
Bar rescue guy.
Yeah.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
You can
That's
see him
weird.
doing that though.
Your
right?
spaceship sucks.
Look at this planet. It's fucking disgusting. You're
There's
calling
rats.
it Uranus? That means your ass. Change the name. You want people to come here? All right, look, Uranus. You're the seventh planet from the sun. We're going to call it Seventh Heaven. All right? We're going to have pearly gates that you can see from Mars. That's going to attract visitors.
And Vanity singing at the beginning of when you first get there.
Did you guys watch Seventh Heaven when you were growing
Yeah.
up?
Show?
yeah,
Yeah. Ooh, can't watch it now.
Oh, no. There's
That's
too many
worse than the
connotations.
Cosby thing.
Oh.
You know that?
You don't know about
dad?
this?
Yeah.
What do you?
He's a pedophile.
Pedophile.
What?
Yeah, like
No.
legit pedophile.
Like, yeah.
God, I should have not done this podcast.
Just ruined his childhood.
By the
Seventh
way,
Heaven is a pure
you
thing.
look like you would be in that family.
Hey.
You really do. No, you do. You have. He's a clean cut, good looking white kid. He
If,
looks like he
yeah,
would be.
They would have adopted you,
What was
and
their
bad
name?
things would have happened.
What was the family's name on the
I
show?
never watched it.
What was the? She married Justin Timberlake. What's her name?
Oh, Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But yeah, that's Oof. It's a little rough.
Wait. Never mind. We can talk about it off air.
You never heard any of this, huh?
No.
Yeah, we'll clue you in.
Camden family. You look like a Camden.
Hey,
That's a
Camdens
white bread
were-
American family.
Yeah.
That is a
too.
white name. Yeah.
It's almost as bad as Miller.
Where did it take place?
Hey.
What?
What city?
Yeah, Connecticut. I'm guessing
I was gonna
Connecticut.
say
No.
Connecticut.
Glen Oak, California.
California was my second guess. Just 'cause
Nowhere near Compton.
So go ahead.
So they're in their final year of school. They're taking all their tests. They're all planning on going into the military. The cheerleaders going into Fleet, which is their Space Air Force equivalent. And Johnny decides he's going to go into mobile infantry. And Diz is supposed to be going off to play professional whatever rocket football game thing that they were doing, whatever they want to call it. And Carl, being the smartest out of all of them, is going to Fleet. Is going to the academy, but he's going to be like.
Are you talking about
fucking,
Neil Patrick Harris?
Yeah, he's going to be like the head of the fucking whole thing,
Like science division or something.
So
like
because
that.
he's just super smart, and apparently he's psychic.
Yeah,
Because that's a thing in the future as well.
Yeah, that confused me.
You can very easily take control of ferrets. Which honestly, that's another piece I should have mentioned about that. I got a ferret right after I saw this movie.
Because of that?
I was like, "That a fucking ferret!" Like I hadn't thought about ferret as a pet.
Did you think you thought you could control it?
No. It was a happenstance. Like a neighbor of ours had a ferret. It was blind. And she's like, I can't take care of this.
Wait,
blind
a blind ferret?
It was blind. I
I took
took
said that in the beginning.
Took in a blind ferret. It was a surprise. But she's like, I can't take care of this ferret. And it's like right after I saw this movie, and I'm like, ferret. Never really thought of a ferret as a pet. I'll take
Wait,
it.
she surprised you with it? She didn't tell you it was blind?
No, she told me after. I was like, I'll
Yeah,
take
no,
it.
like, so yeah, you got it, but then she's like, oh, yeah, you're
She's
also
like,
going
by
to
the
need
way-
these sunglasses and cane.
This little stick.
Was that the biggest thing you've ever done after watching a movie? Like your biggest life change?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think I've ever done anything like that before. But I was like, that's a pretty good. That sounds like a pretty good.
Did
pet,
she warn you
so-
that they smell really bad?
It didn't. He didn't.
Hold
Like,
on.
It's all
What,
about
clean ferret?
taking care of them.
what life-changing decision have you made after a movie?
I don't know. But that's got to be the biggest mistake. Also, that you made.
Yeah. Well, no, it was awesome. Like that fucking thing was awesome. I lived in Philadelphia, so
Born and
like,
raised?
Did it just, run into doors all the time?
he did actually.
Awesome.
But this is the cool thing. He caught fucking mice like a champ.
What?
Blind as shit. I watched him
Were
hunt
the-
down.
Wait, were
I-
the mice blind as well?
There were 3 of them. I watched him hunt down a mouse. Like he was in my bedroom. I watched him jump off of my bed, and I'm like, "Where the fuck is this thing going? It's blind. Like I can't understand what it's doing because it wouldn't usually jump off the bed. It just like hunched up, looked around, like blind as shit, and then just jumped off the bed
He's
and
like-
ran into my closet. He came out with a fucking mouse.
He's like the old guy on, what is it? What's that new movie that just came out?
Star Wars.
No.
oh Jesus, here he goes.
The horror film.
Don't breathe.
Don't breathe. Yeah. Like I imagine that ferret's just walking through the hall, and the mouse stands up real quietly.
Just like
Then the ferret smells his shoes, and it's like, oh, there's
Dude, it
mice
was crazy.
here.
But I literally took the mouse away from him and I let it go and I let him go and he caught it again. Like
Yeah.
he just fucking
Those
it was crazy.
East Coast Philly ferrets are
Yeah.
blind,
Crazy,
fucking
dude, I'm
badass.
telling you, they are awesome. But yeah, so yeah, that I feel like that's that whole interaction with this is like that fucking ferret's a cool pet.
Boy, you would have bet if you showed that movie to your daughter, you guys would have 7 ferrets.
She, I don't think, has any interest in them. I mean, we see them at the pet store all the time, but she doesn't really show any interest towards them. So I'm happy with that.
Surprising.
And they could possibly eat other things that are here. So
He just goes on a rampage and starts eating all the other animals.
Yeah.
So if you
He's
ever
got
get
like a really fat ferret up there.
So you'll know if Corey ever just has too much of all the other animals, because he'll be like, I brought a ferret home. All right, go ahead, Vic.
All right, so we kind of get to see their transition from being high school students to being in the military. He gets put in the fleet. They take off, and we see them each go their separate ways.
You also find out that his parents don't want him doing it either.
Yeah, his parents are like, well, no. His mom's like, I don't really care. Do what you want to be
The
happy.
dad
And the
wants to
dad's
go
like,
to
no,
college.
I spent a lot of money to be independently wealthy. You're going to be independently wealthy, too. You're going to Harvard. I don't care what you say. And then they try to buy him off by sending him to Zagama Beach or something like that, which is apparently a resort planet somewhere. That we find out later was a good idea. He didn't go.
Oh yeah.
Because it doesn't exist anymore. So he's like, no, I'm gonna go, and they go to prom. He gets his first hit with Carmen, who is his girlfriend, and then they take off. He ends up in basic training. She goes to fleet.
Well, hold on. You forgot about the guy during the football game that was basically his rival.
Oh, yeah, Cockblock. I forgot about him.
No, the best part of that is when he's just standing over on the sidelines talking to her during the game.
Yeah. And they're like, number 12, get in here. I was like, shouldn't they have like called something on this by now? Like, I don't know how these rules for this game work.
Hey, what are you doing? By the way, you can just tell then, you're like, oh, she's a giant whore.
Yeah. It's like, you haven't mentioned the fact that your boyfriend is the other guy on the field yet. Like, literally until he walks up and
what are you
says
doing after the game? Trying to get that dick. What she's doing.
She's lining them up.
Yeah.
My dad's not going to be home, and when I'm done with Casper, I'll come get you. So they go through that whole thing. We meet the dickhead who's going to Fleet.
He's going
already.
to Fleet Academy too.
Yeah, but this is what I didn't get. Were they a year behind him? Because they were talking about him going to Fleet before they went. So somehow he was already heading off because when they went to their thing,
I don't know.
He was already in uniform.
That dude is smart. That's like, I used to take home ec in high school because that's where all the bitches be, man. The bitches be cooking.
And you learn how to make eggs.
Yeah.
The easiest
It's
thing
like,
to make.
wow, I didn't know how to do that. Boil water the proper way. So they get through. They all leave. Rico goes to basic training, and this is the weirdest basic training, and I don't understand how this whole military there works, but the basic training for the mobile infantry guys seems to be like 2 years, 3 years long. The fleet guys, they like go and they become like pilots like 3 days later. And then Diz shows up at his basic training. And he's like, what the fuck? This chick is like seriously stalking me. And he's like, hold on, you requested to be transferred here? And she's like, yeah, and looks right at Rico like, yeah, I found out his ass was here, so she came too. That's why that bitch is thirsty, because that was a whole lot to get to that state to get that same.
She's a thought,
something like that. So we go through and see a lot of their training. We see
We're introduced to Mr. Krabs.
Who?
Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob. That was their drill instructor.
Oh, okay.
Is that Michael Ironside? Is that
No. That was a teacher.
That was
okay.
That was the one-armed teacher.
Mr. Krabs was the one that broke the dude's arm.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's
okay.
his name?
God, what is his real name? I forgot.
Come on, you bring up Mr. Krabs and don't have any.
That's why. Why do you think I called him Mr. Krabs?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
If only you had access to this interesting thing that gives you all of that information.
Is it Clancy Brown?
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
all right.
Like,
Hey.
I was
Way to be there. I appreciate that,
problem.
Jeff, because this guy over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're teaching them. They're teaching them the hard way. Like they literally just fuck these guys up in mobile industry. There's apparently no rules like we have now. Like if they want to hurt somebody, they just fuck them up and then call the medic and ship them off.
And that dude in the next scene was all bandaged up and good to go.
well, it's
They're quick healers.
okay.
23rd century,
Yeah,
Corey.
it's the 23rd century.
That's what I'm
They're flying in space, colonizing other planets. They figured out a way to make air casts and solve problems. So
Apparently so.
'cause they stitched the guy back.
Although
together.
the one dude, Casper, has to stay in that fucking tub for 3 days,
That's the tank
or
from Star Wars.
at least 3 days.
Did they shower at basic training, or was this?
Yeah. That's coming up.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I got ahead of
Yeah,
it.
that's coming
I've been waiting for this scene the whole time.
Yeah, that's coming up. So we go through a couple training points. Is they teach them how to throw knives. And Jake Busey isn't very good at it. And the
Any questions?
Mr. Krabs decides to show him how it's done by throwing a knife into his hand, which he never has a wound from ever again.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that knife going in your hand the way it did would have just ended his career.
Again, 23rd century. Like that's
It's just weird.
But think about medicine from like 1860 Civil War. Like they just
It's true.
give you a shot of whiskey
Yeah.
and saw your arm
Cut
off.
the bone out so you
Yeah.
have this thing hanging there.
Now my buddy had shoulder surgery and it was an hour, and then he was home. Like, it's crazy.
I had two of them. I know that.
Yeah,
feeling.
it's insane.
So the other one through what's your name shows up, and he like I said, Diz shows up, and right before that, she challenged ones. Can anyone take me down? Being the badass drill instructor he is, and what's that guy? He's in like every football movie ever created. I think I always see him in football movies. You
What,
know
the
who
dumber,
it is?
the one guy?
the big hillbilly farmer.
I
kid.
looked. I can't remember what it was, but I did notice that he's from Indiana. He's
That
from
doesn't
Fort
surprise
Wayne.
me.
Big hillbilly
Big
farmer kid from
corn-fed
Indiana.
farmer
Yeah.
kid. And he was actually talking about his real life. He's like, I'm from Indiana and I lived on a farm and I want the fuck out of there. So I became an actor. So he challenges him. He runs up, charges him, and gets his arm literally snapped, the bone out of like a compound fracture and they just put an air cast on it, and he's scooping out pink shit. And then like 5 minutes later, leads into one of the favorite scenes that I remember is the co-ed shower scene, because apparently the military has come around by the 23rd century, and they're like, fuck it,
They end up promoting a homosexual in this movie.
Do they?
Yeah. NPH.
Oh, yeah. Wait, he wasn't out yet, was he?
No, not at that point.
Yeah.
Now this was what, 10 years after Doogie Howser?
Yeah, just about. He's still like exactly the same looking kid too, like just taller. Still looked exactly like Doogie, just taller. But
yeah, they actually the shower scene. They actually filmed it. The director had to be naked too for them to do that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that was the only way that they would do it.
they're like, look, we're not going to do this scene with all of us being naked if you're not naked too. Which I would probably have the same thing. I'm like, I'm not fucking dropping my junk if you're not going to.
That's a serious fact?
That's a true fact.
I don't know. I'd kind of be like, oh, well, I'm the fucking director.
Yeah, that's what I... Yeah.
You're all replaceable.
I don't know. Replacing that entire cast there.
Well, most of them were all extras. They didn't have any lines. You could replace them.
Like, it wasn't... MPH wasn't in there.
Everybody in that shower scene had a line. What do you mean they were all extras?
Not everybody.
Everyone that was standing there that they talked to and focused on had a line.
Denise Richards wasn't there. MPH wasn't there. You can replace everyone else in the movie.
Rico too?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in that scene.
And Busey was in the entire movie.
Could have gotten Tom Brady. Would have been, what, high school at that point?
Yeah.
Would have been a little
No,
weird.
You've been college. Yeah, no, you've been high school.
All right, but...
So, they keep going.
Hold on. How did this scene affect you? Because you saw this at 8 years old.
I'm 8 years old, sitting in the theater.
And you're like, boobs.
It's been crazy so far. They've been in basic training and all that. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. I like this. This is... And then I'm sitting there, and it was me, my brother, my dad. And
How
then
old was your brother?
My
Older
brother
or
would have
younger?
been 12.
Okay.
Yeah. 12. Yeah. And we're also there with our neighbor friends who are... The youngest kid's probably 10, and then the other 12 as well.
Talk about weird for your dad.
And their dad's there. So we're all just sitting there, and then these boobs come on the screen. This is my first time seeing boobs, I think, in a movie. And I'm just, whoa! I wish I could have on video what my dad's reaction was. He's like, yeah, fuck it. Like, I don't know if he's like, don't tell mom you saw this. I don't know what happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Like I never even thought about it. Like I saw it, I was like, well.
Well, something we haven't touched on throughout the whole thing is they're giving information on what's going on.
Yeah, propaganda updates
through propaganda type films. As somebody that, do you remember what your reaction was? Like, did you understand that?
No, I didn't.
I don't think one bit of that would have been. How old were you?
8. Yeah.
8, yeah. So yeah. I don't think any of that would have like really permeated.
No, yeah, I think I'm the prime age for propaganda to be like, yeah, this is okay.
But they're apparently indoctrinating everybody using this propaganda stuff, and it's there's a number of them that come in through the course of it, and it's some of the weirdest shit.
Yeah, honestly, the second I saw tits, I just forgot about the entire.
You're like, hold on, is there more scenes with tits?
Yeah,
get the damn bugs off the screen.
But like I remember, I can still picture like the shower scene. Like I can still see boobs from that shower scene. Like I've seen.
You're like really white boobs, black boobs.
Yeah, I saw
Damn
boobs
boobs.
2 weeks ago. I don't remember those. I remember these boobs from '98.
So Rico ends up like I said, they're in a long distance relationship. She's in space, he's down on Earth, and he's training. And they were supposed to be staying together and keeping in contact. And he's been sending her letters, and then she just does what she's like. She does exactly what she tells him not to do, and she just stops kind of communicating. And then he gets the Dear Johnny letter from her, and everyone in the fucking room is standing over his shoulder watching him get fucking dumped. And she's like, isn't this beautiful? This is so great. By the way, we're done. Click.
Yeah, it's a cunty video.
Yeah, it was horrible.
There we go. I haven't heard that here on the show in a while.
let it sit, Corey. Just let it sit.
Let it marinate.
Go ahead.
So then at that point, he's like, okay, and they're training. He becomes a squad leader, and they puts him in his first leadership role, and they're doing live fire exercises, and they're running on hills, and they're getting zapped by laser tag guns that can apparently electrocute you. So if you're gonna get trained, that's a good way to get trained. That's kind of fun.
Were you extra critical of that, Vic?
I was extremely critical. They're fucking around with my business.
Where's the fog and the black light?
How can they see that thing so brightly? That's bullshit. You can't have bright lights like that. So it's a really good laser tag system, though. I need to find out who makes that so I can try to sell it for them. But
have you guys gone laser tagging recently?
I sell
his
laser
business.
tag. Yeah.
What?
I sell laser tag. I actually work for the largest laser tag manufacturer in the world.
How do I get my own?
Like
Give
in your
me money,
basement?
I'll give it to you.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I need a couple packs.
At least
I'm ashamed to admit I went laser tagging by myself. Like
I've done it.
I went through a breakup and I just went laser tagging by myself. And I was like, "Come on, kids, keep me company." And
People are going, this guy's just laser tagging by himself.
yeah, they started calling me Seventh Heaven. I didn't get it.
So he gets put in his first mission. They go into the dry fire exercises, and Buffoon Boy, the Indiana native, is running up and he's complaining. He's like cutting people off during a live fire drill. Can't run in a straight line because his helmet is flopping down on his head because he got a helmet that was too big for his gigantic head. And Rico stops in the middle of the live fire exercise to try to fix his helmet. The chick with him gets shot with a taser laser tag system and pops off a couple shots and kills the corn-fed white
Yeah,
boy.
that was a heavy
it was
scene.
rough.
Intense scene.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere, you're like, wow, this just got really fucking
Yeah,
dark.
shot in the fucking face.
The
Like,
guy gets his arm broke, some chick gets beat up, like all that stuff is just like, all right, well, it's basic training. And then this dude just gets plugged, like his wig just got split open.
Not to go back to laser. Have laser tag packs gotten like more compact over the years? Because like I remember them being so bulky.
Yeah, most definitely. Like our system instead of having like that big thing on your front,
Yeah.
you have like a square on your back that's about yay big,
Uh-huh.
about the size of a small notebook, and then you have two small discs on your shoulder, and then two little triangles on the front.
Okay.
And then it's just a regular vest.
Did
so.
you ever have like the take home laser tag system?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The, old,
Yeah, I
the
had that.
actual laser tag?
Yeah.
Yep.
My brother and I had that. And it
Yep.
was fun.
My company actually, the company I work for, my boss is the curator for the National Laser Tag Museum, which is down in Kentucky.
What?
Yeah.
I will go to that in a second. Wait, where in
I will
Kentucky?
send you the information. I don't have it on the top of my head.
Okay,
But I'll
all
send
right.
you the information after the show.
You guys
But
need
yeah,
to-
there's definitely a thing.
You need to do another podcast about laser tag.
And actually, if you want to go play our system, if you go up to Woodland Bowl, up,
Yeah.
in the Carmel, I just actually installed a system up there. And
they have laser tag there now?
yeah, yep.
Have they always had it?
No, they took out some lanes and put in laser tag. Yeah, it's awesome.
Sweet. I just go to Excite. That's my my old stomping ground.
That's actually I think that's my boss's old location. That's our system too, I think.
On like Saturdays from 9 to 12. I'm just here to plug Excite. On like Saturdays from 9 to 12, they have like unlimited games. $15.
Exactly.
Check it out. That's Excite.
So he gets killed because Rico has his helmet. However, I did notice like he got shot in the eye. Like you can clearly see that bullet go in his eye. I'm like, that helmet probably wouldn't have helped him anyway.
Right.
Unless it was actually down over his eyes and he had just hit the helmet. But
but he also probably wouldn't have been standing there if his helmet was fixed.
yeah, that's true.
Right in the
no,
line.
I'm saying if he was standing there with the helmet over his head.
No, but
she
I'm
got
saying,
zapped.
But I'm saying they had stopped.
Yeah.
Remember? So
Yeah.
if his helmet was fine, they would have been kept running.
No, that's
up
what I'm
and-
saying. His helmet would have been fucked up over his eyes, and they stopped. If Rico hadn't taken it off to fix it, it would have hit his helmet instead of hitting him in the
Yeah.
eye.
Well, that's why he got in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
He got-
So he gets. I guess they figure he's a good soldier. They like the cut of his jib. They don't really want to get rid of him. He doesn't want to leave, so he takes corporal punishment, which has gone back to slave days. They are just fucking whipping him
Yeah.
between two metal trees. It made me real nervous.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was kind of. I was waiting for him to be like, "Your name is Toby."
Kunta Kinte. Twack! He takes 10 shots, or however many they decide to give him, and the Zim took pity on him and gave him a piece of leather to put in his mouth to take the hits.
Then he dropped it.
Bite on this. Did he like spit it out? He's like, I don't need it.
Yeah, halfway through, he's just like,
It's very Brady-ish.
yeah, he was
Yeah.
taking it like a man.
But did he spit it out on purpose or did he?
I think it kind of dropped.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think he was kind of like, oh god, this hurts, and dropped it. He's like, oh fuck.
All right. Okay.
So, this is the part that I didn't get. As soon as he's done taking all that fucking corporal punishment, he quits.
Yeah.
I would be like, no, I'm not taking fucking. I'm not gonna get whipped.
I don't
and then
know if that
quit.
was
I'm just gonna quit.
necessarily a option.
What do you mean?
Didn't he have to take the whips?
Yeah.
No. He decided to stay. Like, they were going to get rid of him. He decided to stay. And it's like, well, if he's going to stay, we're going to have to make an example of him. So they whipped him. Then he quit.
Maybe after the whipping, he was just like, you know what, fuck it.
He's like,
Not
no,
worth it.
I'm done. So he gets ready to leave. And as he's taking his walk of shame out, everyone's just going fucking crazy. And he runs over to the monitor and he finds out that his hometown, after he talks to his parents, actually starts talking to his parents, and the TV goes dark. And as he's leaving, he runs out and they find out that his hometown, Buenos Aires, has been hit by a gigantic meteor which wipes the entire city off the map. And they show a kind of a little cutout. Like, they showed like a picture like you would see on the news, and it's just like this big cutout of where that city used to be.
Yeah.
It's just gone. And that starts the war. So they all decide, all right, that's it. We're going to fucking kill these bugs. We're not taking this shit anymore. We can't peacefully coincide with them, which apparently they've been trying to do somehow. I don't know. ? And they go fucking to war. They attack Klendathu, which is the bugs' home planet. Let's just take the war right to their house. And they attack and they get fucking chewed up by the bugs.
There's
Go
a trap.
figure. Yeah.
There's
Well,
something
no,
bug-
that's
Oh,
the
that's the
first
next
one
one.
wasn't a
Oh,
trap.
sorry.
Yeah. This was just the initial encounter. This is like, hey, we're gonna go see what's going on. And there were like 5,000 of the I don't know what you would call them, the pincer bugs.
Yeah.
And they just literally beat the shit out of all of them. And they show this newscaster, which is the biggest idiot in the fucking world, in the middle of an actual, like, newscasters, war correspondents, that's what they call them.
Yeah.
Don't usually go into the actual, like, while they're having an actual war. Usually
Geraldo
they're there.
Rivera would.
Anderson Cooper would.
But usually there's protection for those guys. They're not actually in, like, the open gunfire. They're, like, hidden in a corner while there's gunfire going on around them. This guy is standing in the middle of everything, and one of the bugs just runs up and fucking chops him in half.
Have you seen well, that wouldn't happen to Anderson Cooper. Have you seen the video of Anderson Cooper like saving someone? Like there's like fire going on, like Anderson Cooper just like stops and saves some boy. Anderson Cooper's amazing.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Is that the one they call the Silver Fox or something
That's
like that?
I call that.
He got the name
Handsome
good, huh?
man.
Yeah. So they go through, and it's kind of a flash forward, flashback situation. I'm not sure exactly how it worked, but it was happening it was in the past, and then it moved. I can't remember. Help me out. Like
remember.
somehow in there, this didn't happen at the exact time. Like we see that happen.
Well,
and
at
then
the
it
very
goes
beginning
back.
of the movie, you're watching it through the telecast.
That's what it was. Okay.
Then this time it's just the regular
It's the
movie,
actual
so you
happening.
see what's happening to the guy, and
Okay.
the cameraman dies and everything
yeah.
else.
And
they
Rico tries to get him out of there,
yeah.
and he's like, "Run, fucking run!" And they're like, "Okay." They don't run very fast. They end up getting killed, and Rico, trying to cover their asses, they're retreating, ends up getting kills one of the bugs and doesn't make sure it's dead, and it jumps up and stabs its big fucking hook thing through his leg, and he ends up and he fights his way through with a shotgun, and we think he's just fucking munched on because you see the gullet of this thing come at him, and then we see Ibanez, his girlfriend, who doesn't really care about him anymore because she's doing the dickhead guy from the other football team from Tesla High, and she sees on the dead roll that he's been killed, and she gets upset, and we see that he's not dead. He's in a bantha tank from Star Wars, getting reassembled with a
He's
maker
to be
bot.
in there for days.
Yeah.
And those people come by to wake him up.
Yeah.
To be like, look, they said you're dead. I'd be like, go fuck yourself. I was trying to sleep through this. Now I'm going to sit here awake in a goddamn bathtub? Like, rude. Fucking rude.
Exactly.
And then that one chick kisses the
Yeah.
glass. Put him on the glass. Don't kiss the glass. Just put him on the glass. I'm in here for 3 goddamn days. Let me see some titties.
And they're apparently not shy about it, so I'm surprised they didn't. It would have been a better scene, I think.
Yeah.
So he gets out of the tank. They've lost most of their crew, so they get reassigned to a whole nother group. And they end up with Ratchek's Roughnecks, which they find out is their teacher. When they first get introduced to the group, Busey makes a little comment about who the hell's their sergeant or whatever. And everyone apparently in that group or in that platoon has been saved by his teacher, Mr. Ratchek, who now has his robotic arm on. He's got it on and ready. And when he comes in, he tells him, he's like, I don't remember exactly what he says, but something along the lines of, you're here with me till you die, or find somebody better, or something along that line, which is a great line, and ends up getting stolen by fucking Rico, throughout every movie that he's in this franchise. So they go to war. The idea at this point is to, they get a mission to go to another planet, because they've got a distress call that says, hey, we're here, we need some help. And when they get there, everyone's dead. There's nobody around. Everyone's dead. They can see that they came up through the ground and somehow managed to get inside of their perimeter. And they find one guy alive, and that one guy is flipping the fuck out because he's like, they stuck something in his head and they made him call you guys. And apparently these bugs have something going on that we're not used to.
Ventriloquism.
Apparently, because they can make... Well, it's kind of like, what was it? Will Smith movie, The Aliens. They grabbed him around the neck and made him talk for him. It's one of those things, except she sticks her dick in his head, and that's how she does it. So, we'll get to that in a minute. So they get called in, and they're like, oh, it's a trap. He goes up on the wall, and there's just billions and billions and billions of these bugs, and they were waiting for them. And they were told that there was no bugs on that planet, that they had gotten rid of all of them. So when they realize that these things are actually thinking, and they've actually managed to make a distress call, and get them there, that they know that they're in fucking trouble, and they now have confirmation that there's something smarter than they think controlling the bugs. So the chick and the dick show up and pick them up. They pick them up and get them out of there. Thirsty chick gets killed. She takes like 6 prongs to the chest and everywhere else.
Man, she's such a whore too, because as she's dying, she's like, well, at least I got to fuck you.
Doesn't she like bleed out of her mouth?
Yeah.
That was gross.
She's like spitting shit out of me.
And he's like kissing her. It's like, dude, she was rebound sex for you once.
Right. You brushed that shit off until you absolutely had no choice because she raped you. And that's the only reason why. So, holy fuck, dude! There's so much more in this movie. So they get a new Sky Marshal because the other one sucked. They bring in all of the mobile infantry, and all of the fucking fleet shows up to attack Clendathri to try to capture this fucking smart bug that they figured out they have. And in the meantime, there are these gigantic bugs that shit flaming like crap out, and apparently can do it so like they've got massive like intestinal problems. They can shoot this shit all the way into space, and they end up hitting all of the spaceships because they're all flying in one big fucking square instead of spreading out because they know that these fucking things can do this. So they end up hitting the one that Advantage just happens to be on. That's a chick in the dick, by the way. And they end up getting in, the only ones to survive also, which is kind of fucked up. They get into the only escape pod because there's only 2 on this whole fucking ship, and they fly out, end up on the planet because they couldn't have flown over to another fucking ship somehow, but they end up in the planet. They hit a mountain that luckily wasn't structurally sound enough to stop that thing and blow it up, and end up inside of the bug lair. The bug bitch, the big queen, like smart bug shows up, which
looks like an anus,
like a giant. Actually, I think it looked like a giant pussy.
Well, the mouth looked like a pussy. The rest of it did look like a big, like a plumber's cracked ass that was bending over.
And it just wobbled. So it comes out. It sticks its dick in the dude's head and sucks out all of his brains, which now we know how they're getting all the information that they need, which I think it would have been cooler if they had to turn around, like made it talk to her or something. Like I was waiting for that to happen. And when it goes for her, she cuts its thing, and she pulls a bobbin on it and cuts its prong off with the knife that they gave, which is a really long way to come around as to why they should have had those throwing knives, which apparently the fleet gets them too. And everyone shows up. Apparently Rico has like some sort of a like satellite dish that connects to her, so he knows where she is. He finds her with his nuke in his hand, because apparently humans are also immune to nuclear like fallout in the future, because they launch those fucking things like crazy. They get away from the bugs. Seth Gilliam gets killed, and damn it, I tried. There was so fucking much left. All right, so I'm still going to do it. I know I didn't make it, but they have to hear the end of the show.
I'm giving you 30 seconds.
Okay, so Seth Gillian grabs the bomb after he gets sliced in the chest, and he fights them off so that they can get away, and conveniently a big rock falls and stops the explosion from killing them. And when they get outside, everyone's there. Yay, big party. And apparently Zim, who has demoted himself down to private, is managed to catch that big-ass fucking bug by himself. I'm not sure how he did it exactly, but they drag it out with a net, and apparently without its little bug things that it crawls on, so it had to have been real scratched up, which doesn't feel good. Sand and and whatever. And they find out that there is a mound bug. What's his name? Charlie comes back and he's like, "What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it?" And he's like, "Oh, it's scared." Go figure. They start firing off rocks and shots, and that's the end of the movie.
You know what? Actually, for that effort,
I'm actually fucking winded.
That's
Crazy.
all right, that is Starship Troopers. So we will be right back, and we will have our results to see if the 1997 cult classic holds up. You are listening to the award-winning Showdown Podcast.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
It's commercial time. Corey, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on.
Shut up. Jeff, you are our guest. Please tell the people where they can find you and the show.
Every time.
I feel like that was really mean. You can find me at the Jeff Vibbert on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Jeff Vibbert.
And what about the podcast?
Podcast at jeffvibbert.com.
And you know what? He was right. That was pretty mean. Corey, go ahead.
Okay. You can find me on Twitter.
No. Vic, go ahead.
We really don't care that much. You don't have to feel bad for me. You can find me at MillerKing51 on social media, and you can find me online gaming on most platforms as Black and Angry. That's BLAQ and Angry.
All right, Corey. It wouldn't be funny to do it 3 times in a row.
Okay.
Shut up. Stop.
Yes.
You had to get in on it.
Oh, man. If I wasn't already playing this music, I'd give you a ding. Yes, you can find me at BradScottComedy.com, Twitter and Instagram at BradScottComedy, comedian Brad Scott on Facebook, and you can find the show at The Showdown Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and The Showdown Podcast on Facebook. Click like somebody should. All right, Corey, go ahead.
All right, you can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at NKOGonzo. Don't forget about our other show, The Miller Times Podcast, available on Twitter at The Miller Times Pod.
And Wrastlemania. That's Wrestlemania with today. Me and Brent Terhune talk weekly pro wrestling in a humorous way. Not smart, always entertaining. Wrastlemania on iTunes, Stitcher, Podomatic.
And don't forget our podcast coming up, Laser Tag Plus. So check it out.
That may be Jeff and I's new podcast.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to the show and see if Starship Troopers holds up. What was that? Take it off right after Starship. Oh. Might as well just leave it all in. And now back to the show. Welcome back. This is the 3-time award-winning Showdown Podcast. We are joined by special guest Jeff Vibbert. And now it is time. It's time to see if Starship Troopers, the 1997 cult classic, holds up 20 years later. By the way, excellent selection, because 20 years. It's an anniversary. Do you think we're going to get like a special edition Blu-ray this year?
Have they made it on Blu-ray?
I think it is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I would imagine
I think it's probably one of those that's like $5.99 somewhere.
Oh.
Also includes like 8-legged freaks on the same
Right.
one. So let's start with Jeff, since this was your selection.
Starship Troopers, it'll always hold up to me. I have a biased opinion. It had a special place in my heart when I saw those boobs in the shower.
And your groin, apparently.
Yeah, in my groin, in my pants. No, it holds up. It's always going to be entertaining. I mean, it's not meant to be taken seriously, and I think the special effects were decent, and obviously
Academy Award winning.
Yeah. Which I would have never have guessed. Like,
No, I had no idea.
I actually, and then go ahead.
No,
I actually like in watching this, I was like, for this movie being that old, I am impressed with how well they did, like not necessarily like the gunfire stuff, but how they did like the physical like damage effects, like the slices. The one dude that was jumping off of the platform and it sliced him across the back, like that shit looked real as hell. Like it looked painful. Like you could see that dude's ass crack when it sliced him almost in half, and he fell off the thing. I was like, they went pretty far with this. Yeah. So I was impressed with that.
One of the craziest the craziest thing about this movie is the fact that it won an Oscar for that. Like, I believed the naked director shower scene before I believed the Yeah, it holds up, in my opinion.
All right. Corey.
Yeah, like I said, I saw this the first time when it came out on video, maybe DVD, I don't know. I've watched it several times since, and the first time I saw it, it didn't really trigger with me, like the messages it's portraying, because I was so into the sci-fi part of it. But then on multiple viewings, like, oh, I get it now. It all makes sense, and it's a great film. The director also did Total Recall and done a couple other ones, so it's like he's got a great track history, especially through the 80s too.
RoboCop.
RoboCop is another one, yeah. And so, yeah, for me, holds up.
It is interesting that your great track record is Total Recall, RoboCop, and Starship Troopers. I mean, that's GOAT territory right there.
Those are some great movies.
He has an Oscar. Like,
Vic?
I always have the most interesting things watching movies like this because I'm a big sci-fi buff, like nut, and I don't tend to watch them much for content. I just like to see the craziness that goes on with it. And this movie's always got the craziness, but I found myself thinking in this time, there are so many fucked up things in this that don't make any sense that I can't look past the fact that it's the 23rd century, because by the 23rd century, like, we came up with Raid. Why couldn't they come up with a big fucking bottle of bug spray to get rid of these things, okay?
That would have been the Spaceballs version.
Then my other problem is like they're mobile infantry. They don't get in a truck once. Like, they don't do anything. They don't have tanks. Like, why do we not have tanks? Have we just stopped making tanks? Like, that would have been useful in this situation, like a tank. But despite all the ridiculousness of not being in the movie, it's a fucking awesome movie, and it holds up for me 100%.
Wow.
That's 3 votes.
Yeah, and you know, it's unanimous. It's 100%. It's not to be taken serious. First time I ever watched it was today, and I loved it. It's really good. It's exactly the type of movie I like. It's like a Sharknado.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. It's so over the top that's where the greatness lies.
Right.
It's one of those. Yeah, it's so bad it's good. It has everything. I mean, young Neil Patrick Harris, Busey,
Amy Smart's in it.
yeah, well. Okay, I don't know
bit.
why that
because
Busey and Neil Patrick Harris would fit in that, but
She's been on the show before. We did Road Trip.
Oh, okay. Well, she hasn't been on the show.
that was
She's
his movie.
She's never been on the show. We talked about her in another movie.
Okay, a movie.
Corey
another
wanted to
movie
be a
she was
towel
in.
or something.
Not hers.
But it is. It's a unanimous decision. It goes into the Hall of Fame. It's a fun movie, and yeah, it's everything. It's everything you could want in a cheesy bad movie. It's up there with Masters of the Universe.
I'm going to warn you right now, don't expect too much out of the sequels.
Oh, yeah, no.
They are worth watching just for the stupidity of it, but just be prepared.
This on its own.
Yeah.
No sequel could ruin it. It was really good. So, okay, I was thinking about this movie, and I was thinking they use bugs primarily, I'm guessing, because bugs are something that universally creep people out, and a lot of people are afraid of bugs. And for them to be giant is a nightmarish scenario, especially when there's 1,000 of them. What else would you personally not want to see on that planet if it wasn't bugs, like clowns or some shit?
Like something that was more gigantor, like the bugs, big size, like that was.
Something you're afraid of that there's millions of them. Just like
something
you show up at a
would not
planet.
want to face, like 5 billion of them.
Like 10,000 clowns just coming at you in hordes, trying to kill you. That would be freaky for me.
Where's that music coming from?
Or bears. Like if it was just a planet of bears.
I was going to say bears.
Bears was going to be one of yours?
Like gay people? Or
really big guys with beards and mustaches.
Bears and twinks.
Like real bear. Like
real bear. Grizzly bears.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
They throw
polar
otters at
bears,
you.
actually. Because then the planet's going to be cold.
Ugh.
And polar bears are the most dangerous hunters in the world.
Yes.
They're very dangerous.
That's factual.
Very pigeon-toed.
And they can smell a seal from over a mile away. But also, I think sharks, like if it was like walking sharks,
Look, just the idea of a walking shark in general, I'm
it's
out.
scary. Yeah,
I'm the
imagine
fuck
if it's
like,
100,000 of them coming at
Yeah.
you. What about you, Corey?
Well, I said bears.
That was your one contribution?
That was well. You didn't give me a chance to think of something else.
Mine would be a variety of weird, creepy snake things. Because like they're not all one
Wait, you
kind
say
of bug.
snake things.
Snakes, because they're not all one kind of
Okay.
bug. So they're like variants of different kinds of bug things. Could you imagine like a variant of different kind of gigantic snake things?
Like a cobra.
Like flying snake, and then like tarantula snake. Like have you seen the pictures of those things online?
A
No.
tarantula
Okay,
snake?
yeah. There is a
Motherfucker.
picture where someone took a tarantula and put its body.
Time
like,
out. Hang on. You already ruined Seventh Heaven for me. Are you going to ruin sleeping for me tonight, too?
Yeah, and they like superimpose the tarantula like into the snake's head. It is the creepiest fucking thing ever. Look, spider head snake or something like that.
I looked up
that
tarantula snake.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I'm just seeing a bunch of pictures of tarantulas killing snakes.
You sound like a 5-year-old kid trying to like Google cool shit like tarantula snake.
Oh, yeah, I see it here. I got one.
Yeah, show him that picture. Could you imagine that?
Ah!
Yeah,
oh, I
yeah,
see it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck
that'd be
you.
creepy,
I'm
yeah.
done. I'd be like, nope, I'm out. I don't know what that's gonna do to me.
That wouldn't matter. They just put you in that little bathtub for 4 days and it would heal you right back up.
They're like, no, bitch, you're not. No, you gotta get out there. But yeah, like something like that. That'd be horrible. Like all these different kinds of like creepy ass snake things coming at me. I'm done.
What about you?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like dancing in public, so like if I just had to like dance in front of a bunch of people on a planet, that'd weird me out. I don't.
What the?
What's going on? over there?
I don't know if that's something that can necessarily attack you. Fear of dancing.
I don't know.
Like a bunch of dance instructors just chasing you down.
It's like flash mobs come and attack him.
Or if I just like get on the planet and it's like no one there, and it's just me, and then my anxiety attacks me. I think that might be another one. Yeah, I don't know. I think that'd be it. Anxiety.
That was it? Anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I'm all alone and everything's coming at me, but there's nothing.
What about
here.
gigantic elephants?
There you go. I mean, elephants are pretty big now, but
Yeah.
I figured my the girl from The Ring, like a million of those.
Oh,
That'd
Jesus,
terrify
no.
me. Yeah.
with that, yeah.
Oh,
Vic,
no,
Vic is terrified of the what's it called, Vic?
And that like crabby creepy walk.
Yeah.
Like that. Like
You used to have a
I
name for it,
Yeah,
though.
I ratchet walk.
Ratchet walk. Yeah.
I can deal with all things scary. Like I am fine with anything. Like you can show me some of the scariest, weirdest shit, and I'm okay with it. Like I'll think it. That literally creeps me the fuck out whenever I see that.
Have you seen the like pranks they're pulling now? With like false
yeah.
TVs and
The
shit?
chick comes out of the TV.
Yeah.
Oh hell no. No.
Would that be the scariest thing for you, Vic?
Actually, there's one thing that would be scarier than that is fucking. You imagine you're sitting up on that wall, right? I have my whole platoon with me. I look up over the wall, and there's just a fucking sea of KKK members, and like white all over the place, and like
Just a
green
wave
ones
of
flying,
Klansmen
like flying
with
Klansmen.
crosses.
There's those green
On
fucking
fire.
wasp ones. Would be like the green Klansmen dudes. Like they all have different color shit. No, I'm done.
Speaking of Black History Month, we've been celebrating with our Blacktastic episodes. And Vic, how about a little segment we like to call "Tell Us About a Black Person"?
I need to update you guys on black people. Is that what it is?
Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna. Have you guys ever heard of Bass Reeves?
No.
Never heard of Bass Reeves. Okay, so Bass Reeves was born in 1838. He died in 1910, so he lived a long fucking life.
Not obviously a friend of yours.
No, not a personal friend of mine. He died at 71 years old, and in that time frame, those years, that's like the Wild West and shit. And like just after slavery, that's a long fucking time to survive as a black man in the Wild West. He was the first black U.S. Marshal.
Really?
Yep, first black U.S. Marshal. Had over 3,000 felony captures. Killed 14 men, all by self-defense, because he would not kill a person unless they literally tried to kill him. Was never wounded, ever. He got shot in the belt buckle, had his hat shot off several times, but never actually took a wound in a gunfight.
Is this who Will Smith was based off of in the movie Wild Wild West?
No, well, no, but you will be surprised when I tell you who is based off of him, though. He was. Then this will be your clue as to who he was and who they based him off of. When he was a slave to a guy named Reeves. He went into the war with his son and ends up beating his son's ass after a card game, because his slave master's son's ass after a card game in Texas. Takes off for like Arkansas or something like that, and ends up living with Indians, 3 different Indian tribes, learns the Indian language, hangs out with them, and then eventually he meets a marshal who is trying to put together a group of U.S. Marshals who can communicate with Indians, and he's the only one that he could find, so that's how he got hired. And because of that, he ends up with a sidekick who's an Indian. He rides a white
Long
horse.
Ranger.
And he is what the Long Ranger is based
Django
off
and
of.
okay. Never mind.
He is actually who the Long Ranger is based after. Like, all of the stories of the Long Ranger are based after almost all of his stories.
How about that?
Look at that. Another
Learning
white man
stuff.
taking a black man's face.
Learning stuff on the showdown. All right, this is the time where we say goodbye. This has been a very fun episode.
Yeah.
One of our better ones.
I would say so.
Absolutely.
I had fun.
We want to thank our guest co-host, Jeff Vibbert.
Thank you.
Check out the Jeff Vibbert Podcast. It is a very fun, funny, entertaining, good podcast. It's been very successful. Check it out on iTunes, Stitcher, I'm guessing all that other stuff as well.
He pimps it like we do.
So for Corey Miller,
Yep.
Vic Miller,
Yep.
Jeff Vibbert, I am Brad Scott. You've been listening to the Showdown Podcast.
G.I. Joe against Cobra the enemy. Don't let Cobra Commander get away. G.I. Joe!
It's Cobra Commander! He's stealing our missiles! Look, get him, rock and roll! Here comes Grand Slam!
Fights for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe, American hero.
We saved the missiles, but you gotta get up early to catch Cobra.
Cobra Commander and G.I. Joe figures and equipment each sold separately from Hasbro.